In today's Complaint Corner, our Defenders review. This is Critically Complained. Hi, I'm Adam, and this is Steve, and as always, we're going to talk our goods, our bads, and our final impressions. And I'm going to kick things off with our goods. So, I am an unabashed lover of the Netflix series. I like the Marvel Netflix series. I love them to pieces. I've even the less good ones like Luke Cage and Iron Fist. So to me, my number one thing that I loved about the Defenders was just the character interactions. Just watching all of these four very different people talk to each other, and they nailed it. The dialogue was so good. I'm never gonna get tired of listening to Jessica Jones give all three of the other ones shit. I'm never gonna be sick of it.
Jessica Jones. Oh,
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones was the best part.
She really was. She was so good. And that actually, this is technically my second good thing, but it goes hand in hand with this, so I'm just gonna say it right now. The other thing I really liked was the way that they balanced all the characters. Like, I felt like every character, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones, they each had their time to shine. And I didn't feel like any of them were the main character. I felt like they were all the main character, and they all had their moment. And I really liked that.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
Like, I like the whole show. I was always just like, yes, then this is how Iron Fist beats Luke, and this is how they would act towards each other. Like when they meet for not the first time, for the second time, and Iron Fist is just like, I am the immortal Iron Fist. And Luke is just like, you're the what? like I loved it. I loved all of these butting of heads. It was amazing. I loved it.
I killed a dragon. Right.
Yeah, I killed the dragon, and he's just like, no, you didn't. I really liked that line in particular because I felt it might have been a subtle jab towards the show Iron Fist, where you didn't see the dragon. Like, he's just like, I punched a dragon, and Luke is just like, no, you didn't. Like, because he didn't. We didn't get to see that, and that was one of my complaints about Iron Fist, that they didn't show enough of his origin. And
we saw glowing eyes in a cave that one time.
No, we didn't, Steve. That doesn't count. I don't accept that. And it's even, oh no, I don't want to go into the bads yet. I'll get there. So you go ahead, Steve. What was one of your goods?
Okay, well, one of the things, and to kind of piggyback off of yours, one of the things that I liked the most is that when they all did meet, I didn't feel like they had just been dropped into a blender and, like, oh, okay, this is just happening to them all now. They all had, like, logical reasons to be where they were when they met, and then they all had reasons to stick together that didn't feel like a bad D&D campaign where everyone has to stick together because that's just how the world moves forward.
I completely agree. Yeah. It wasn't like we're gonna become the Defenders because the plot demands it. We're gonna become the Defenders because we all have skills and we all have a reason to be here.
Actually, half of them didn't want to be Defenders in the first place, which was also fine.
Yeah, I liked that. I agree with you. I completely. What they really got right with this series is each character. I completely understood where every single one of them was coming from, why they were there, why they agreed to team up, and why some of them didn't want to team up initially. Like Daredevil, like, he's just like, no, I am not getting involved in the Hand again. The last time I messed with the Hand, the person I loved died. And Jessica Jones is just like, no, I hate people. like, you know what I mean? Like, she's she's just like, I'd rather not. And Luke is just like, I don't know about any of this shit. I was just trying to take care of some kids.
Yeah, seriously.
I was just. Oh, actually, before we go any further, we should have said this at the beginning, but we forgot. Spoilers. We're going to spoil everything. Nothing is sacred. Every single plot element from this show we are going to talk about. Okay?
But you should have already seen it by now.
Yeah, so, you should have seen it. It was only 8 episodes, not like the usual 13. You got no excuses. It's also really good. So there's that too. Anyway, well, I hope that you feel the same way, Steve. Anyway,
Only time will tell.
do you have anything else to add with your good about how you liked all the character?
Well, I specifically, I think the
meeting
one
up?
that I like the most. God, I'm forgetting her actual name. The night nurse. Help me out. What's her name?
Oh, Claire.
Thank you, Claire. Yeah, Claire was always in the previous shows as like the weird glue that held them together, like to connect the series, you know.
Yep.
But I think now that they're actually all together, the reason, or I guess not the reason, but like the fact that she was there was a totally natural way of moving these people together. Like, okay, some dude with a glowy fist just punched me. Hang on, let me just call that guy up. We need to have a conversation together.
That was nice. I'll admit that.
And it's like, thank God she was there to push this plot along, because this would have taken
You know,
forever for them to meet otherwise.
You say that, but I really feel like that one time was the only time that her being there was important. I like her entire, what's the word? The only thing that she did for this series was get Luke and Iron Fist to meet and actually talk to each other.
Yeah, but that started
Like,
the
that
ball
was it.
rolling. That made it seem like these people were like, could have met outside of this conversation. Because otherwise, Luke and God damn it, Luke and Danny would have would have met in that alleyway that one time when Luke got punched, and then again at the bad guy building, which would have been, they probably just would have fought again because they would have considered them both to be bad guys again. So if she wasn't there to sort of, smooth that out and say, hey, we're on the same side, even though they didn't get along, it kind of got this team thing rolling.
While we're on the subject, and I know we're supposed to be talking about goods right now, but I have to mention this. One of the things I didn't really like about Claire is I would have really liked to see Claire and Matt, have a conversation with one another, one-on-one. I was really annoyed that never happened.
You're right.
And it was kind of bothering me because Matt, Daredevil, he was our introduction to this whole universe.
Yeah, and he has the most seasons.
Yeah, he had 2 seasons. All the other ones only had 1 season. And he, other than maybe Luke, has the most connection to Claire. I was kind of irritated that he never really talked to her. There was one time where they were all together, right at the end when they're inside the building, and they're kind of they talk to each other a little bit in a group setting, but that's it. They never talk one-on-one. I wanted a moment where Claire talked to Matt and was just like, hey, so you're working again. That's cool. And Matt's just like, yeah, I'm doing what I have to do. This is a one-time deal. Something like that. I would have liked a little
that
moment
would have been
like
nice,
that.
You're right. Yeah, but I guess something had to get cut somewhere. We only had 8 episodes, so, I guess.
Actually, this is all tying back into the one thing, which is the characters, but I feel like I have to mention it. This is my next good. I loved the way that each character progressed. The only one that I feel didn't have any progression was probably Luke Cage. That's because
none.
They did
0 progression.
Well, that's because they did so much progression with him on his own show. He was already at the point he needed to be at. I can't really think of, other than getting him out of prison, how you could really progress his character in a meaningful way. He was already where he needed to be by the end of Luke Cage. You know what I mean? I was fine with him. But Jessica Jones was by the end of the series is better willing to work with other people. She's working again. She took I don't even know how much time passed, but she took at least a few months off after the whole Kilgrave thing, to where she didn't want to take any cases anymore. But by the end of the series, she's back in business again. And with Matt started the series basically really depressed. He realizes that being Daredevil has pretty much destroyed all of his personal relationships, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. He's trying to
get back. He does want to do it still.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, is that's what he realizes by the end of the series. He's just no, being Daredevil is a part of me, and that's okay. It's a good thing. I'm doing what's right. I'm doing what I have to do. Whereas before, he wasn't doing it because he wasn't always doing it because it was the right thing to do. He was doing it because he enjoyed it. He was doing it because he just wanted to. But now,
punching people is the best kind of catharsis. So
it really is. And I really like that aspect of his character, where he's doing the quote unquote right thing, but not for the right reasons. You know what I mean? Like he's
Sure.
doing it because it's fun and because he's addicted to it and because, it makes him feel good. Whereas in this series, he realized that he can do what he wants to do, but he has to do it responsibly, and he has to do it in a way where that like his main motivation isn't because it gets my rocks off. His main motivation is because there's no one else who can do this, and so I have to do it.
Right.
I liked that. I really liked that. Also, okay, this show almost got me. They spent such a long time making me think that he had died. Like I was just like, no way, he couldn't have died. Like, there's no way.
Okay.
There's no way.
I didn't think he died for a second, but I thought they were going to reveal it in the next series. I didn't think he was going to be back at the end of the episode.
I don't know. I almost fell for it because there was that one moment where Iron Fist at the end where Iron Fist is like standing on a rooftop, but at first you don't realize it's him. Like you see this dude crouching on a rooftop and you think, "Oh, Daredevil's alive." But then like he ignites his hand and suddenly you realize, "Oh no, wait, that's Iron Fist." And for half a second I was thinking that in the next season of Daredevil, it wasn't going to be Matt Murdock, it was going to be Danny Rand being the new Daredevil for half a second.
That would just be silly, Adam.
I know. I see. I realize that now, but for like just a second, I was like, "Wait, they didn't kill him, right?" And no, they didn't. They didn't. And we're okay, everybody. He's fine. Well, I mean, he's beat to shit, but
yeah,
he's not
and
dead.
somewhere not there. He's somewhere else now, but who's to say? Yeah,
exactly. I lost my train of thought, but yeah. Shit. Where was I? Character.
About characters.
Character progressions. I liked the character progression of Matt. I liked the character progression of Jessica. I didn't like the character progression of Luke Cage because he didn't have any, but
Correct.
I liked the character of Luke Cage, and I liked where he was at, and I was comfortable with where he was at the end, too. So that was fine. I didn't need him to progress. But the one that really worked for me, I really liked the growth that Iron Fist made in this show.
Really?
I did.
I was going to say, he didn't really have any either, or it was negative.
Oh, he did. No, he definitely did. It was not like the main focus of the show, but it was there, and I really liked it. Like, when he realized that he didn't have to be a one-man army, and it was okay for him to be a millionaire and to use his resources as a millionaire.
That's one of my bads. We're going to get there in a minute, but...
What?
No, hang on.
My God.
We're going to get there later. I take issue with that, but we're going to get there in a minute.
That was that one scene where he like walked into the room like wearing a suit. That was better than any of the stupid suit scenes from Iron Fist.
I'm not talking about that. It's a different. No, not that.
Oh, okay.
Not that scene. That one's fine. Him going in there all Bruce Wayne style and trying to.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was fine. I'm not talking about that.
I like the idea of Iron Fist realizing that Danny Rand and Iron Fist are the same person. And like he can use all of the resources he has at his disposal, his skills as a fighter, his chi, but also his money and also his connections to like different corporations and whatnot. It's all a part of him. It's all who he is, and there's nothing wrong with him using that. And also, I liked that he, at the end of the series, had grown to care about New York and wanted to protect New York. And he was like, when you see him on the rooftop at the end, like he's not only thinking about Kunlun or Kunlun, however the hell you say that. Kunlun. He's not only thinking about Kunlun anymore. He's thinking about New York, and he's thinking about being a hero in the more traditional sense, and not just fighting the hand. Like, there's more to it now. He realizes that there's more to being a hero than just fighting off one organization. And I liked that. Don't get me wrong, Iron Fist is still my least favorite of the four of them, but I thought that they did a decent enough job of making him a better character in this than they... Like, he's not as much as a whiny bitch constantly telling people, I am the Iron Fist, I am the immortal Iron Fist, I am the sworn, defender of Kunlun, the enemy of the hand. He doesn't do that as much here.
He still has other issues now.
Yeah. I liked it. I thought that there was a marginal improvement in his character, and I'll take any I can get with his character.
Okay, fine. Stipulated. But I still have issues with him probably the most of all the other characters. Can I do my good now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. My next good is that I want to have Jessica Jones babies.
Oh man, I'm so with you.
Everything she says is pure gold. Everything she does is just the best.
Actually, speaking of Jessica Jones and babies, this is. I want her and Luke to get together. Really.
Well, I think the
bad.
issue is that we know it already happens because we have prior comic book knowledge about it.
But they have so much chemistry together. Like that scene.
Yeah, remember that one time they fucked that one time and totally smashed up her room? God. Can't even remember chemistry like that.
More than that.
You need to go on The Bachelor to find love like that.
I'm talking about in The Defenders, like when they're talking to each other about how
I know what you meant.
About how like, hey, you never called, and this is like, yeah, well, you didn't call either, and then later on, like at the end when they're both in the bar together, and he's just like, hey, I'm here if you need me, and she's just like, yeah, maybe we could go get some coffee, and he's just like, like they have so much chemistry, and in my opinion they have way more chemistry together, and I like their relationship way more than Luke and Claire.
No, I agree.
I don't care about Luke and Claire.
See, the problem I have with that is that she's mine and no one can have her. That's really where I take issue with it.
She's just lovely.
I will fight Power Man for her.
You'll lose,
but I'll go down swinging and breaking my hand on his impenetrable abs. But she'll know what I did for her, and she will love me.
So your good is just Jessica Jones. Just want to gush
Jones
about Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Just want to love Jessica Jones.
Just from beginning to end, all Jessica Jones all the time. Best part.
Fair enough.
Best show, best part of Defenders, best Marvel next property, best colored purple person, best.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go do one of mine good ones then. My next good is. Most, not all, but I really liked most of the action scenes. I felt like this was kind of a medium ground between. So, I think we can all agree that Daredevil has the best action scenes, like the show Daredevil.
Yeah.
Daredevil's action scenes are top fucking.
It's always
notch.
got that. Both of the seasons had like the one fight scene where it was just like, oh, nice. For the first season, it was definitely that hallway scene that was just like one big, long, uncut thing.
And the second season, it was the stairway scene.
Yep. With like the chain and shit.
And then this season, it was the boardroom scene that progressed into a hallway scene.
That was pretty great.
It was fucking awesome. Oh my god. I literally I was giggling, and I was like clapping my hands when Luke showed up, and like the rap music started playing, and like the two of them are kind of like,
I was kind of okay.
What are you doing here?
When that started, I was actually really bummed they didn't all get their own unique soundtrack when they got to the building. I wanted everybody to have their own song transition as they kicked ass. Just for me personally, that would have been a thing I wanted to have.
I don't really feel that way personally.
It would have been corny and dumb. I just wanted that to happen because it really ties together that ridiculous Saturday morning cartoon action hero montage they were going for.
See,
it looked like the opening to Thundercats, and that's what I wanted.
Fair enough. But I would say that most of the action scenes were good. And they were a huge improvement over the action scenes of Iron Fist.
Oh yeah, it's really cathartic to see like all of them just like jumping around and kicking ass together, and like occasionally going off of each other's ass kicking move into another ass kicking move. Oh, it was so good.
You know, it was just, for me, it was just nice to be able to see Iron Fist kicking ass and to not be like, is that Iron Fist? I have no idea what's even going on. Like what? What's going on? What's happening? Like, that's how I felt for most of the action scenes of Iron Fist. There were a few okay ones, but for the most part, Iron Fist action scenes were just like super jump cutty. Like I couldn't understand what was going on.
I have more to say about that when I get to the bads, but you're getting ahead of me on a lot of these points. So I think we should. If you have no more goods, I think we can move on to the bads
That's
now.
pretty much it. That's pretty much it for my goods.
Okay.
So
I have to get some of these bads.
We'll move on to the bads. Since you really want to, you can go first. Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, you left me so many options, but I'll just build off of the one you immediately did. So, the fight scenes. I'm laying down a new ground rule, and I hope Netflix people are listening. Stop making everything happen at night. Nothing can happen at anything earlier or later than noon. I want high noon on all fight scenes. Yeah, I can't tell what the fuck's going on.
Do you know
everything
what was
is
really
dark.
Great? You remember that scene we were just talking about? The scene where in the boardroom where they're all fighting together? You know why that scene was so good? It's because you could see what was happening.
Yeah.
Like I could see
in the finale,
each
when they were
character.
in the underground dragon cave or whatever, and shit was going on, it's like, I don't know who's winning. Everybody looks the same.
Yeah,
occasionally you see like a
the
black
worst
guy
one.
face. It's like, okay, that's probably Luke Cage in there, but or Madame Gao shows up occasionally. But it's like, Jesus Christ, this is an entire room of ninjas, and everybody's a ninja.
The worst fight scene for me was, it wasn't the finale, but it was the episode right before the finale when Luke, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones are in like a parking lot fighting against like three of the members of the Hand, and while simultaneously Iron Fist is fighting against Elektra.
That was a mess of a scene.
That was the worst fight scene. I had no idea what was happening.
No, it could have been super cool, but it wasn't.
It totally could have been awesome. But like Madame Gao is like force pushing shit, and
yeah,
I'm just
okay,
like, what
all right.
the fuck is happening?
When she showed up and they were having their dialogue, right? She was standing behind like this pallet of cinder blocks, and I was like calling it right away. I was like, okay, she's gonna push those cinder blocks, and the shit's gonna go down. And she did, and I was like, yes. And then just a
but that's all
blur
she did.
of colors happened, and it's like, okay, well, what? I guess they won. I don't know.
Yeah, it was, oh my god, it was awful. It was it's so weird how like every fight scene, I think that the choreography was pretty good. The problem was that whenever it was dark, you couldn't see what was happening, and like the editing went to shit, and they're jumping all over the place. I couldn't follow what's going on. And then whenever there's a lit fight scene, suddenly it's like, oh, hey, I can see things. Like mind blowing. Jesus Christ, yeah, like, the best fight scenes was, Daredevil and Iron Fist fighting speaking of that, I hated that whole thing where, so Daredevil, Iron Fist, all of them, they're all like, oh, so the Hand wants Iron Fist, so we should just not give them Iron Fist. And then Danny is just like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. They're clearly lying. We need to work together. No, everyone. No, they're lying. And then everyone's just like, hey, listen, calm the fuck down. We're just talking it out.
This goes directly into one of my next bads, but you keep going. Oh my god.
No, I think you and I could just do this bad together.
Okay.
Iron Fist had some really shitty scenes.
Oh my god.
Like,
Iron
really
Fist went
bad.
off half-cocked at like everything.
Oh my god. Okay, there were so many, and don't get me wrong, this was an improvement on his character in his own show, but that's only because his character in his own show was so terrible. Like it's a marginal improvement, but he's still the worst of them. Let me think of all the times he did something jaw-droppingly stupid. Let's see. There was the time that he tried to fight off the other three because because he didn't want to sit on the sidelines.
Yeah.
There was the time when, after being told that his Iron Fist, like, you know, his glowing hand.
Oh my god, are we talking about the Dragon Cave?
Yep.
Dude, oh my god, I was so pissed. I was like, don't even do the Iron Fist, because she's just gonna, like, throw you into it. And then she did, and I was like, I don't feel pity for you, Iron Fist. You had this coming.
There was
you
so
colossal
many,
idiot.
Like, that was such a stupid scene. Like, and don't get me wrong, it made sense, only because Iron Fist has been proven time and time again to be a blithering idiot.
Yes.
So it made complete sense that he would do that.
Because the fake out death of Daredevil wouldn't have had to happen. They wouldn't have had to fight all those guys in the basement cave, and they never would have got into the basement cave if Iron Fist hadn't have been a dipshit and gone down there and opened it for them.
There would have been so many ways for them to have Iron Fist open the cave in a way that made way more sense. Like even just have Bakuto capture Colleen and then, like, threaten to kill her unless he opens the door.
That could have worked, or they
could
have done
easy.
Some kind of ninja bullshit, it's like extracted his chi or something.
Don't get me wrong, that would have been cliche too, but it would have been better than Danny just igniting his fist for no reason in the middle of that fight, and then having Elektra lead him over to the door, obviously.
Yeah,
and then
seriously.
having him grab his hand and throw it towards the door. And then it's like, oh shit, it's the thing that we said was not, it's the thing that we told you we were going to try to do, that you just let us do.
Yeah,
oh,
way to go, idiot.
Jesus Christ.
Way to blow it for everybody.
I think the best scenes for me were the scenes when other people were making fun of Iron Fist. like I liked it when... Just in general. Like when that one black member of the Hand was just like, you must be the stupidest Iron Fist yet. Or when Or when Jessica Jones was just like, come on, Ironclad, and he's just like, Iron Fist, and she's just like, yeah, I know. Or when Stick was just like, it's a good thing that you're a fucking moron, and then he broke his phone. Like, there were so many moments like that, and I liked every one of them, because he really is an idiot, and it hurts me. It causes me pain. And he had some progression. He did. He started to make a few not completely stupid decisions once or twice. Like, I liked that he was the only one who was like, he was the most okay with them all teaming up. Like, he was willing to admit, yeah, I don't think I can do this by myself, and he was okay with working with others. Like, after a bit. The other ones were like, I don't want to be a part of this. But he was the only one who was just like, actually, no, this makes complete sense. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Like,
in retrospect, having all these superpower badasses and that one blind guy could be, a good advantage.
Daredevil is superpowered. It's just not like an offensive superpower in the way the other ones are. It's more of like a support thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get you, but like on the outside,
he was useful all the time. Like how he can smell pork.
Yeah, that was really handy. That came in handy in that one thing that one time.
It was super useful. So while we're talking about bads, you did your bad, but I gotta do mine. Just
okay.
Got it. I did not like the plot of the show.
No, I didn't either.
At least. Like, okay, I liked the plot in the sense that we talked about earlier with, like, getting all the characters together and having them all have reasons to be there. That was fine. But I didn't like the
goal they were trying to accomplish?
The goal of, well, mostly just the hand. I didn't like the hand. I didn't like what the hand were trying to accomplish. I didn't like that I really didn't, like, think about it. Think about, like, this whole Netflix universe seems so poorly planned in retrospect. Like, what is a black sky? Do you even know?
Fuck if I know. I never understood that.
Like, I have no idea. That's something that they teased in the very first season of Daredevil, like, 3 years ago, and I still, even after the Defenders, I have no idea what the black sky is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it does. Like what was the point? What was the point of bringing Elektra back from the dead? Like,
that was one of my bads. Why is she back?
Like, don't get me wrong, I like her. I like her being back. I've actually thought that the scenes where she was starting to remember, and especially the scene where she went to Matt's house and slept in his bed.
Yeah, that wasn't weird or anything.
It sounds really creepy when I say it, but I thought that was a really touching scene. I thought that was well done.
Okay, all right, that's fine, but I want you to consider that if she wasn't in the plot, how would things have gone differently?
I mean, okay. Things would have gone differently in that Daredevil would not have had as good of an arc as he had. That's how things would have really been different.
Okay, but that's just quality of story. I mean, like,
yes.
the progression of the plot.
Yeah, you're right. Plot progression-wise, she didn't need to be there. Not really. But quality of story-wise, I was completely okay with her being there. Plus, her existence kind of led to some butting of the heads between the different fingers, which I thought was fine.
Yeah, I suppose that is kind of important. That wouldn't have happened otherwise.
Yeah. Actually, and that's the thing, is I actually liked the different fingers of the hand. I thought they were all kind of interesting, with the exception of Bakuto, because he can suck a dick.
Yep.
But other than him, I liked the other ones fine. I thought they were all really interesting. But I didn't understand what they wanted for most of the time. Okay, so like they kept talking about how they were trying to get back to Kunlun, and I assumed that's
new information to me. That's
that's what they were saying, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
Like that's what they're just like.
But they also wanted the dragon spinal fluid or whatever to live forever with or something.
Yeah. And, like, they kept talking about, like, this door that's down at the bottom, right? They wanted to open the door. And I thought that the door was going to lead to Kunlun. But it didn't. It just led to some dragon
skeleton.
Some dragon skeletons that they then, like, ground up to make into
and snort
life
off
elixir. A life elixir.
Yes.
And that's fine. I'm not against that being what they wanted the whole time, but that's not what I was told that they wanted. They led me to believe that was gonna lead them to Kunlun. Like, how does getting that life elixir help them get to Kunlun? How does it do
does
that?
not. I think those were separate goals. But
they
I don't
weren't
see,
saying
but
it like that.
I know,
That's
I
not
know.
how they
I am
presented it.
100% in agreement with you because guy who was hunting things was first introduced here, and they wanted to get back. And Madame Gao, who used to be a cool, mysterious character, was kind of a bitch in this one.
Yeah,
and,
she kind of was.
Yeah, and the
I
Professor
miss the
McGonagall-looking lady who was in charge of shit shows up for one thing to get immediately offed by Elektra,
Oh,
which was
are you
I don't
talking
give a
about-
shit about, but
Wait, are you talking about Sigourney Weaver?
yeah, that lady.
Okay, first of all, it's Sigourney Weaver. How do you not like?
Because I don't
she's
know
amazing.
names good.
All right, fine.
That's irrelevant.
That's another thing. That's another thing is I didn't really get what Sigourney Weaver's character wanted. I thought Sigourney Weaver did a pretty good job, but I didn't really get her character.
No, I
like,
didn't
at
know what
all.
she wanted either. She wanted the black sky, but I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. And she wanted life apparently because they
Yeah.
wanted the bones. But and we were told that they wanted to get to Kung Lun, but we have no idea how they were planning on getting there. I don't know. The whole thing just doesn't make
Yeah,
any
also
sense.
it kind of seems like they could just go there if they really wanted to get there.
I don't know if they could though because
Well, because Danny went back that one time.
no, he couldn't. He tried and it was closed. Remember?
Right, but I feel like they could get in there if they really wanted to get in there.
Oh yeah,
'Cause-
that's another thing. Is they're acting like through all this millennia, all they've wanted to do is get back to Kunlun. You know where the entrance is, don't you?
yeah.
don't
Why
you
aren't they
know
setting
where
up
that
shop
is?
outside that door, just
Yeah.
trying
Why
things?
don't you just or even right now, you have the Iron Fist, out and about. Why don't you just go set up shop by the door and wait for it to open up again? There's no more, the Iron Fist
Yeah,
is somewhere
yeah.
else. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
do you remember? Do you ever see Passengers, the movie with Chris Pratt in it with a?
No, I
space-
didn't, but I heard about it.
Okay, well, there's a scene where he's trying to get into the captain's quarters, and he's just got a bunch of power tools and shit laying about trying to crack open this door. That's what they should have been doing. They should have just been getting shit to try to open the door and get back in, not this underground criminal bullshit.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense, and I wish it did because I liked all of the different members of the Hand, except for Bakudo.
Yeah, because Poodle can eat a dick.
But the plot just doesn't make any sense. I can forgive it. I still liked the show just because I loved the characters. I loved the four of them, and I liked them fighting and stuff. And the plot was decent enough that I could be okay, they're trying to get to the door, and we need to stop them from getting to the door. I can understand
I can
that.
forgive it. It's just got serious issues.
Yeah, it has a lot of flaws. It's not the kind of issue that I think is immersion breaking to the point where I can't like the show. I still like the show, but it's really dumb.
Yeah. All right, is that,
okay, so
is that
you can go.
your finished
That was
thought,
my
then? Okay, all right.
bad. So you go ahead and do your
Okay,
bad.
so I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this one or not, but
Okay.
I think this show was simultaneously took too long to get started and was too short.
Yeah, no, I completely am with you. Yes.
Okay. Because
The
the first
first two
episode, I know
episodes-
you told me that you saw the first one before I'd started watching, and I was like, I wonder how it's going to be. And then I watched the first episode, and I was like, wow, he was right. That was nothing happened in this episode.
I know.
It basically just showed us where they're at now. And I get that they have to do that, but
Okay,
you only got 8
okay.
episodes, dude. Why are you wasting time?
Exactly. How do you fuck that up? That's a problem that all of the Netflix shows have had. They always have pacing issues. Every single one of them. How do you fuck this up so much? Each one, you're told you're gonna have a 13 episode season. You're gonna have an 8 episode season. Plot it out in a way that isn't stupid.
Yeah,
in a way
animes have
where-
been doing 13 episode arcs for 1,000 years, and they do
Yeah,
fine.
I literally have no idea why this is so difficult. All you have to do is just be told, okay, you're going to have 8 episodes, and be like, all right, let's plot it all out. Let's have something significant happen in every single episode. Let's have it build to a rising climax. Plots, basic plot structure. That's all you need to do here. This is not hard. You have some really talented people working behind the scenes on these shows, and they cannot understand basic plot structure. I just don't get it. Every fucking show has had these issues. How?
I don't know. Which is a bummer, because generally speaking, the Marvel shows are usually pretty fantastic. So it's kind of
Yeah,
a bummer
they
that they have
really
the
have
same
been.
issues never get resolved. But the other disappointing thing that I was talking about, that it was too short. Like, this is the one we've been waiting for. This is what you led up to, and you don't even give us a whole 13 episodes about it. Like, I could have done more. I would have been happy with more episodes.
I would have done more. I remember finishing the series and being like, that was good, but I wanted more. Like, I wanted a lot more.
I mean, I'm glad that they kind of set it up where it seems like going forward it's going to be Defenders, not individual people, you know? Because I wanted them to stay together. I didn't want them to come together for this one thing. It feels like that's going to be how they're going to do it.
Yeah, it really seemed like they set it up so that they could very easily team up again. They laid the groundwork.
They left the doors open for that kind of thing,
exactly.
Which is good, but I still was, you know, I'm a little parched for more Defenders. 5 more episodes of Defenders, maybe.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that if you're going to do like 8-episode seasons, why don't you do 8-episode single seasons and then have a 13-episode team-up season? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know why is the finale shorter.
This is the part I want to see. This is the thing you've been building for 4 years. And it's
like, okay,
short.
It's like if you went to a concert, right? And they had like 4 opening acts, and then the headliner came out and played like 3 songs.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like that. And it's like, they were all good songs, but I wanted
But where's the rest
more.
of my money? This is a $175 ticket. I want more songs.
I know.
Play Freebird.
I completely agree with you. And actually, this is going to tie into one of my bads that we're talking about. I'm just gonna transition it because it's related. I really get the feeling that they did not plan this out very well. Like,
you mean
I'm talking
in advance, or as they were making it?
I'm talking like having each show planned out to the point where they each tied into the plot of the big team up.
Oh, like, no, I don't think so.
The biggest example of this, what was the point of having Luke Cage go to prison? What did that accomplish?
Nothing.
He went to prison at the end of Luke Cage, and then within 2 minutes of the Defenders, he was outside of prison already.
Yes.
What was the point of that? Why did we do that? Like, when I first saw Luke Cage, I assumed that it was going to take like an episode or 2 of the Defenders for Luke Cage to get out, you know? And that's how I thought that he and Matt were going to meet up. I thought that they were going to have Luke be in prison and have Claire call Matt and be like, hey, listen, a friend of mine is in prison. I need your help to get him out, please. Mm-hmm. And then Matt would be the one to take like an episode or maybe 2 episodes to like do a bunch of legal stuff and get him out of prison. That makes so much more sense. It's much more natural than what they had.
Instead, we had Foggy show up and say, hey, here's my business card. And then he just kind of walks out.
Yeah.
And it's like
how did Luke get out of prison? What did they do to get him out of prison? We know at the end of Luke Cage that, like, the government had found out that he was actually Carl Lucas, and so he went back to prison to serve out the remainder of his jail time. But we were also told that apparently Diamondback had, like, evidence that he didn't actually commit the crimes he committed as Carl Lucas. And then, magically overnight, Foggy used this evidence to get Luke out of prison in a way that we have no idea how that worked. Yeah. I have no idea. I was given no information on that.
No.
You could have had an entire episode around that, and that would have given Matt and Luke a lot of screen time together, and have it so when Luke does get out of prison and the Defenders and all of the hand shit starts happening, like, the two of them would already have a rapport with each other. They would have a connection with one another, and they could be like, oh, hey, that's my lawyer, he's a superhero. And then Luke and then Daredevil would be like, oh, hey, that's that person I helped out who also has unbreakable skin. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it would have been so natural and easy. And they completely missed that opportunity to have Luke just be out of prison so they could have an entire episode revolve around all 4 of them spinning their wheels and doing nothing.
Well, okay. It's interesting that you say that, because it's weird that they actually kind of did do that, only they did it with Jessica Jones, and it was way more contrived because he was already in prison, and they could have just used that instead of having her be arrested twice. You feel me?
Oh, having him be arrested twice, you mean? Yeah, actually, I suppose that's true in a way. It's just the whole thing.
They could have rewritten it differently, I suppose, because it certainly does feel like they put him in prison and then immediately pull him out for the Defenders. It kind of feels like they stuck him in there as a way of rationalizing why he wasn't there for the other people's shows, because he was locked up during their encounters with things.
The only other show that happened after Luke Cage was Iron Fist. Of course he wasn't going to be there for that. Why the fuck would Luke Cage show up for some rich white boy showing back up in town to go and fight the Hand? Of course he wouldn't be there.
I don't know. I mean, he showed up in Jessica Jones as a bartender. You know, I don't know. I don't know. They could have done it somehow, I guess.
That's
but
another thing.
It's still dumb.
That's another thing. Is what was the point of having Luke Cage be in Jessica Jones? What did that accomplish?
For the sex?
Well, I know that was
because
great
every
or
other
whatever,
episode had
and
to have
I know that they now have this connection which they can touch upon in the Defenders, but like I'm talking plot wise. What was the logical point of having Luke Cage be in Jessica Jones and be a bartender, and then in his own show for him to just now be be like working in a barber shop as a sweeper? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Do you see the disconnect here? Like, do you see how it doesn't make sense? Like, what was the point of even doing that in the first place, other than to introduce you to the character? Like, there's no logical... What was the point of telling us that a black sky is some big deal in the very first season of Daredevil, and then to have it be a complete non-issue in the Defenders? Like, what was the point?
I think you're right. I think some guys sat down to write this plot up, and they said, what would be a cool, like, overarching thing to stick between these? Let's have a black sky. What's that? I don't know, but let's just keep it in the back burner.
Exactly.
And then it shows up later, and they're like, shoot, we have to actually, pay this off now.
It's very clear when you watch the show, like, when you look at all the shows from, like you take a step back and you look at them all, it's very clear that they were not planned. They were making shit up as they went along, and they were having, like, every time they made a new show, they kind of had to retcon it a bit and be like, oh yeah, that one time I got hit with a shotgun. Yeah, I still get headaches from that. Or be like, oh yeah, Luke is in prison. Let's have him get out in 2 fucking minutes. You know,
exactly.
like they had to constantly rewrite themselves and.
Well, they also had to introduce 2 more fingers of the Hand in this show alone, just to make up for this contrived plot of 5-fingered hand trying to get back to Kunlun thing.
Speaking of that one plot, and this is gonna be really fast. The whole 5 fingers of the hand thing actually retroactively makes Iron Fist make more sense. Like, you know how there was Gao and Bakudo, and they were both the Hand, but not? Like, they were fighting each other, but they were both the Hand? Now we know what was going on. There were 5 different fingers, and they each have their own underlings, and they sometimes fight each other.
Yeah,
like,
they offhandedly threw that in there, but I think what happened there is not so much as retroactively explaining, or not... Yeah, it is retroactively explaining. They're rationalizing what a fuck-up they did the first time around.
They're trying to make sense of the mess that they had already made.
Yeah.
Basically. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. What was the point of having Nobu be an underling of some other Asian dude we've never even met? And what was the point of having Nobu and Gao in the first season and have Nobu be presented as, like,
is equal standing? Yeah.
Like, Nobu was presented as the Hand. I don't know if they actually called it the Hand in the first season, but it was very clear to everybody that he was Hand.
Yeah.
But then we find out in, I think, Iron Fist that Gao is also Hand. What?
Yeah. Well, they also set her up to be like I was saying before. They set her up to be like the big bad, but they stuck her in here, and she was 4th place.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the whole thing, it's very obvious that it wasn't planned out, and that each show was just trying to make it work as best as they could.
Yeah.
And I think they did. I think each show individually did a pretty good job with it. But when you look at it from a broad view, the whole thing just doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
No.
Anyway, so that was like my big bad thing. So, do you have any other bads?
No, I think I got most of mine out of the way.
Yeah, so did I. So I've been kind of talking about the whole thing from a grand perspective, but to kind of narrow in on the Defenders for our final thoughts. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was solid. I thought that there were some plot issues, but I was more than willing to forgive those issues because of just how entertaining it was to see all of these characters interact in, like, really meaningful, like, well thought out ways. Like, I didn't mind it. You know, like, I was just like, okay, so the plot doesn't make sense. Okay, so the Hand is stupid. But the characters are so fucking awesome. I love it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I had so much fun watching this show. I loved it. But it is not perfect.
No, I'm with you there. I went in on the first episode thinking, like, oh, Jesus, this is what I waited for. But it does go up. You know, it's got a pretty constant rise in quality.
After like the first 2 episodes, it pretty much stays consistent up until like the very end when everything kind of falls apart. But like, from like episodes
that was
3,
just train wreck to set up the next thing they have to do.
From like episodes 3 to like halfway through 7, it was very good.
I agree. I like this one a lot. It does have pretty glaring issues, but they're not so glaring that you can't watch it. It's like you'll notice them, but you'll be so enthralled in provided that you invested in the previous shows, because that like 50 to 60% of the enjoyment you get from this show is just watching these people tag team. It's like it's like the fan fiction kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like the show was focused on what it needed to be focused on, which was the crossover, having the characters all feel like who they're supposed to feel like and having them interact. And that's what they did right, and that's what they should have done right. You know what I mean? Like, that's what was important.
Yeah. The relevant parts were there.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see, and that's what I did see. The rest of it was kind of just to have a reason for them to
there had to be something for them to do, and there was. It wasn't a great thing, but it was passable, and it got the important stuff out of the way, i.e. the tag team meeting, fighting dudes together sort of business.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm trying to decide on a number here. I'm trying to decide somewhere between 7 and 8, something in that range. What are you thinking? Because we have to. This is I was about to say the wrong thing. This is Critically Complained, and we are a team, so we have to come to a consensus on it. So I don't know. What should we say? I'm thinking.
On the one hand, I enjoyed it quite a bit, but I don't know if I'm comfortable enough giving it an 8, because I don't know if it, I don't know if it was good enough. 7's a perfectly reasonable score.
I'm thinking like 7.5.
I'll meet you there.
Just because of how much I did enjoy it, despite its flaws. Yeah. Like, I really liked it. So if I were to rank these shows...
7.5 with an asterisk, because it requires you to have previous investment in the other shows.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't think you can watch this one without seeing the other ones. You can, but you're probably not going to enjoy it nearly as much, because you're going to be looking at it like, what is all this nonsense?
Yeah, if this was your first show, you would just be like, I don't care about any of these people. What the hell is going on? Don't do that. Watch the other shows. Do your homework, and then watch the show, and you'll get
you'll be rewarded for your commitment.
Yes, you will.
And they're all pretty worth it, so,
I would agree. Even the worst one, which is Iron Fist, I would say is still worth watching. I enjoyed it for its issues. So if I were to rank these shows, I would go Jessica Jones.
Agreed.
Daredevil Season 1.
Agreed.
Then I'm debating on this, but I think I'm going to say Daredevil Season 2, mostly because of Punisher.
Yeah.
If you remove Punisher, then I would rank it below, but I would say with Punisher, Daredevil Season 2, then Defenders, then Luke Cage, then Iron Fist.
Yeah, I would agree with that alignment there.
You agree with that?
Yep.
All right, cool. Okay.
Okay.
So those are the complaints of this review. If you can't complain, share it with your friends. Bye!